And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. And joining us right now is our friend Rich Lowry, the editor of National Review. Hello, Rich. Belated Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
All right. Let's start, I guess, with Chris Christie. A big document dump today. They're not expecting too much more to come out right now. So based on what you saw yesterday from the governor, the nearly 2-hour press conference and the apology and the trip to Fort Lee, et cetera, I think he's separated himself from the likes of a Hillary Clinton or an Obama when it comes to taking responsibility and dealing with a crisis in his own administration, a possible scandal, and I think in the long run, if he's telling the truth, it'll help him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. He set the appropriate tone yesterday, humble most of the time. Outraged, embarrassed, humiliated. He wasn't using lawyered-up, weaselly words. He didn't seem to leave himself any fancy escape hatches. And I believe he's probably telling the truth. It had the ring of sincerity. And if he's not telling the truth, he's just created so many hostage to fortunes, he's going to, detonate sooner rather than later. So I think most people will consider it an augmentation of the Christie brand rather than a detraction from it, because he seems to have acted so decisively and taken it head on. Now, there's the kind of secondary issue. Why do you hire these kind of people who are capable of this sort of thing, this vindictiveness and this dishonesty? I think that'll be a lingering issue. But sort of the top-line story and the people who aren't paying, just very close attention and just see it on the news, I think it helps them.
Now, I'll say this in fairness. First of all, I'm no Christie fan for various reasons, but I'll say this in fairness because the left today, their talking points seem to be Christie played the victim. And I bring it up because I could see somebody like Obama doing this too. And if Obama did it, I know I'd be all over it. He never really said, he didn't say, I have to find out what I did to create a climate where people thought that they could get away with this. Why would they do this? That's what I have to find out. What he said was, I was lied to. I have to find out why I created a climate where they felt they could lie to me. In other words, he was the victim. He apologized to the people of Fort Lee, but not really. So do you think that that's problematic or revealing in any way?
I think it's cutting it so fine that it's really that's not that revealing. And it just there was a little whininess there, by the end. But I think the language up top was so forceful. And I mean, you make a really important point. I was victimized by these people, but I need to do soul searching about what I did to create the environment where they would have done such a thing. We never heard anything like that from President Obama. But my rhetoric against the Tea Party might have created an environment where the bureaucrats felt empowered to do this, and I'm going to think about that really hard and whether I need to operate any differently. I've never heard anything like it. It's unimaginable.
Yeah.
So it's completely different, I think.
Yeah, no, okay, fair enough. All right, let's move on to Bill Gates. Yesterday Ari Fleischer told us that he felt Gates betrayed Obama and Hillary by going public with the conversation he heard where Hillary said that she played politics in '07 with her vote on Iraq, and then sort of Obama said the same thing back. And he was kind of surprised also that the book came out when it did. I've had others tell me that they thought it was the fact that Gates just despised Obama so much that he couldn't wait to write the book. So what's your take on the writing of the book?
I'm a little ambivalent here because I do find it somewhat distasteful. And I always thought Bob Gates was really among our political elites, and he served 8 presidents, so if anyone's a political elite, he is. I always thought he was the most old school and the most stand-up of any of them. But here he is saying he's on the verge of resigning multiple times because he's so appalled by various things. But he doesn't quit. He just keeps notes for his memoir, which he pushes out the door as quick as possible to maximize sales. So apparently no one in Washington does the old Cyrus Vance, where you have a major policy disagreement. As a matter of principle, you resign honorably. So I'm a little disappointed. On the other hand, these are important things to know, and it's not as though we didn't really know them, right? I mean, who really thought Hillary's opposition to the surge was entirely a matter of a fine-grained, understanding of the dynamics in Anbar province is completely driven by trying to catch up to the left in Iowa. And we always knew that President Obama was very conflicted about the Afghan war, but getting all this confirmed by such a highly placed and such a credible source, I think, does qualify it all as bombshells.
Now, does this stick with Hillary? I mean, I know the media won't let it stick, but will the Republican candidate have the wherewithal to bring up, hey, Secretary Gates said in his book that your vote on Iraq was political?
Yeah, it'll be a line in a debate, assuming that she wins the Democratic nomination, and it'll play into the narrative about her, which I think is very true, that she's overly calculating. But it itself is not going to be a torpedo in her bow by any means. Yeah,
and a very interesting piece you wrote about Obama versus the Little Sisters, and of course that's talking about the Little Sisters of the poor and Obamacare's contraceptive mandate and the victory that the Little Sisters gained actually on New Year's Eve from Sonia Sotomayor.
Yeah, Steve, this just astonishes me. How do you get in a court fight with the Little Sisters of the poor, right? How do you get in a court fight with these people who devote their lives to caring for people at the end of their lives, in the most modest and movingly sacrificially way possible?
I would say, I guess it's not that surprising when you've taken on religious freedom in this country through this mandate, and especially the Catholic Church, and you in foreign policy favor the Muslim Brotherhood, who kills Christians all over the world. So I'm not shocked.
Yeah, well, it just shows how ideological their commitment to the mandate is, because you would think at the very least, okay, we'll just give the Little Sisters a pass. We just won't worry about that one.
Right.
We can have it apply to everyone else.
Take on someone else, right.
Yeah, and it really gets into a matter of deep principle, because the way the Little Sisters health insurance is structured, they get it from another religiously oriented organization that also should be exempt from the mandate. So at the end of the day, the Little Sisters have to sign this piece of paper that authorizes their insurer to do this.
Right, and they consider that an infringement and in effect signing off on it. Listen, Rich, we'll follow that, and we'll follow it with you as well, and I appreciate you coming on. We'll speak to you soon, sir.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you. Rich Lowry, ladies and gentlemen, the editor of National Review here on the Steve Malzberg Show. When we come back, Susan Ferrecchio will join us, Chief Congressional Correspondent, Washington Examiner. We can't ignore the Congress. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.